Hello and welcome to another Mobalytics video. I'm your host Virkayu, and in this one, no, we shall not be talking about the junglers. However, we will be talking about the solo carry top laners that you need to 1v5 every single game. And really, that's the entire concept, that you don't rely on your team as much so that you can actually win lane by yourself and then translate that lead to the rest of the map, and then you can walk away with a fresh bunch of LP. Now, as always, if you find yourself up against one of these champions in your games, you can use the Mobalytics live companion app to give you the information on their stats and how they perform on the champion so that you can feel more confident in your ability to destroy. And now, without hesitation, let's begin. First up, we have Darius. Now, Darius walks over to the lane, and he walks over the lane, and then he gets such a big lead that he can steamroll the game. It's very irritating when you watch top lane, you see the enemy has Darius, your lane has whatever they want to play. He starts stacking and stacking, and then the Conqueror starts stacking, and your top laner literally just bleeds to death. And while I may have oversimplified it just a little bit, it is still very easy to win lane as Darius, and the point is to use that lead to really take hold of the game. Now the thing is, once he has even a small lead, even if he's neutral in the lane and no one has died, it's very easy for him to 1v2 the enemy top and the jungle at the same time. And when I do jungle coaching, I pretty much see this a lot. They think they can walk up and fight a Darius without any considerations. They don't understand his stacking mechanic. They don't understand when exactly he heals when he whooshes around in a circle. And so when you can do that 1v1, when you can do that 1v2, and you have those tower plates giving a huge chunk of gold every time he gets one, the leads just grow bigger and bigger. Now obviously, if he doesn't get resets and he's getting kited out a bit, he can have a rough time in the later phases of the game. But with the new ghost setup that also has its duration increased on takedowns, it means that if he can get 1 kill, he can get 5 kills. And that's what you want from a top laner. Now next up we have Kamil. Now you probably don't really expect her to be on this list, let alone this high, but she actually has insane early game pressure and kill potential. And then of course the common theme of this video is that they snowball out of control. But specifically in her case, the enemy top laner cannot farm or even get close to her because of that hookshot range. If she hits that stun, if she has her ultimate before you, if you have no flashes or anything to get out of the way, you are 100% dead. Unless by some miracle you win the stat check, but you know, that doesn't always happen when you're 2 levels behind. Now if that was the end of the torment for your top laner, that would be fine. The problem is, with that hookshot range, she can roam around the jungle, trap enemy jungles, gank mid very easily, and there's nothing they can do. There's no counterblade to a point-and-click ultimate that locks you in a cage that makes you think you're fighting in the UFC. Except you are you when the enemy, you know, is an actual MMA fighter, which at this point is like a dog running through a sandcastle. And the thing is, it's not that she has this innate ability in her kit when she's fed, it's also that item spike she has with Trinity Force and Ravenous. If you're going, of course, to stock build, just the DPS plus the healing makes her very difficult to deal with. And yeah, the scaling with true damage, yeah, I'm only just mentioning this now, but that's really not the point, is it? The roaming machine is why she ranks so high up, and because once you have the ability to out-roam and out-pressure the enemy top, Kamil is one of the best in the game. If that's a little too hands-on, or legs-on in her case for you, maybe Vladimir could work out better. Absolutely huge scaling. If the stocks showed the scaling of Vladimir on your actual portfolio, you would retire right now and buy an island. Eventually, he just solo carries because he reaches the point where nobody else can deal with him or fight him whatsoever. He's hard to shut down because of the safety in lane, phase rush, pool, the spirit of Dracula. Even though he's not quite a vampire, yeah, I know, don't get on me. But the point is, he has that sustain as well, so if you do chunk him and don't manage to kill him, he can heal right back up. In teamfights, he has Zhonya's, heal, sanguine pool, summoner spells, phase rush, maybe he has proto belt, maybe the will of the gods, the old and the new. You know what he's going to do, but you can't stop him. So if the Vladimir is good and knows how to play early and mid game and even get small leads, you can basically say goodbye to the win. Especially seeing as he can one-shot people a lot earlier than you think with his stacked up Q. High damage, AoE damage, insta-burst one person, as well as amplifying the AP damage on the rest of his team. Yeah. Now seeing as sometimes we play like monkeys, we might as well play an actual monkey. Especially seeing as he has a ludicrous win rate on the top lane, some sites 52, 53, 54%, who knows, but either way it's very high. Can you one-shot people if you're turbo giga fed? Yes. Is that the playstyle like it used to be? No. And all semantics aside, he's not that difficult. Obviously the double knockup in the ultimate is the biggest shift in his kit that everyone's noticing. More CC with more damage equals good wins, and is a very strong reason why he's the best win rate top lane in Masters Plus. The thing is, that does percentage target maximum health plus scaling with AD. Additionally, when using his E, he gets a bonus attack speed for 5 seconds, and when he's using his ultimate Cyclone, that gets refreshed, continuously refreshed. Add to this the innate sustainability from his bonus armor and regeneration of his maximum health, combined with the great disturbing bruiser itemization featuring Death's Dance, some more healing for you, and you have an absolutely insane disrupting top laner with sustained damage and CC that can really surprise and tilt enemies when he's really fed. And if you don't like clubs but rather lampposts, Jax has been doing this for, well, basically a decade. Like Vladimir, just scales into an absolute monster that cannot be stopped, scales with items so well, has a lot more variety in how you can build them and use them in that late game phase, and also has two ways to win basically. He can group and team fight. Stun and damage can be insanely hard to deal with if you get into the back line, of course, but with that leap, you really can do. Also, the cooldown on that and the range is always surprising for squishy targets. ADCs think they have a nice big gap between themselves and Jax, and then he just leaps onto them and they die. However, if you don't like team fighting or relying on your team, kind of the point of the video, then you might want to actually use that split push pressure. Create it, win 1v1 because you can with items, dive, take towers, and give your teams an easy win in those fights. You will often require 2, maybe 3 people to deal with you if you manage the laning phase correctly. And when that happens, hopefully your team is literally woke enough to actually make the numbers advantage work in their team fights. The big thing about Jax, as well as our next one, Fiora, and a few of the others in this video, is that you must understand how to split push, because if you don't actually know how to split push, you don't know when to apply the pressure, when to match your team, when to flank in and fight, you won't be able to use your advantages correctly. There's no such thing as only split push and only team fight. Fortunately with Jax you have that option, and Fiora basically follows the same pattern, not really the same kind of champion as Jax because the teamfight can actually be significantly more devastating with her ultimate marks. But a really fed Fiora in the backline and cleanup crew, it's just tough to watch when you're on the team against her. Part of it is through the healing, tons of different parts to heal through her kit, and once she gets Death's Dance, without proper itemization, without proper CC and damage and range used against her, basically, you know, good night. She also has that repost ability which allows her to block crucial spells, and in team fights when she's fed and you're trying to actually stack CC together, if you don't do it properly and time it to perfection, and she uses it very well, you're not actually going to be able to burn her down. Now at least early you can kind of deny the vitals, and there is some more counterplay to it, but eventually she can probably just auto attack you to death while dashing around. At least, you know, that's what it feels like. But if you will allow me, Riposte is just one of the strongest moves in the game. You also have things like Cassiopeia's Miasma that sort of let her outplay all matchups no matter what. And when she has that experience and itemization lead and roams down to those fights from her split push or pressure positions, she's able to get that team-wide healing and put out some serious damage. Now he's a little bit less frenetic, but Gangplank is not in the best spot this season, but he is still a 1v5 monster when he is even sort of relevant. Hyperscales into the game and reaches a point where he controls the entire fight. You can't get close to him because of his barrels. If you try to deny them, you're probably getting one shot or close to it. Of course, we're talking with itemization in the late game. And he will hit that point after a few items, and basically with barrels plus ultimate, you are definitely going to be sleeping with the fishes. And of course that ultimate is an absolute game changer in terms of tower dives, wave clearing, it's global. He can just use it at any given moment, and instead of having a shield and a tanky Shen boy show through, it's just a huge amount of damage and zoning that can absolutely control the situation while he's not even present. You really do need to hard engage him, but even then he's semi-tanky, he has his heal, the CC removal, and can run away and then set up some more barrels, because that's the life of a pirate. Basically one of the hardest champions to play against when he's good and fed. Putting emphasis on the good part and saying, you know, that's you the player, so if you play it well and get fed, yeah, enjoy your victory oranges. Next up we have Aurelia. Now like Gangplank, not as strong in the current state and the current meta, but an absolute machine built to 1v5 when she is piloted by capable hands. Now most of us will not be, you know, the owners of those capable hands, but it doesn't mean you can't practice, and then practice some more. The reset mark system is easily abused to dash around. Obviously if you know what you're doing, you can dodge damage, move from one person to the next. You've got that E, which allows you to CC in a unique way that can kind of mislead people, force them to walk in different directions. It can corral teams just by putting one part of it down. Yes, she has huge damage and it can be burst damage over time with the passive and items, but you know what's really concerning is that I'm not entirely sure if she's ranged or melee, because you know, sometimes it feels like her auto attack takes up half the lane. Much like other champions on this list, can teamfight or split push, but is definitely a superior teamfighter, and where great players and fed relays really can show how 1v9 this champion is. You land a big ultimate, you land a big stun, and it's go time. Now we're really not going to end this list without talking about Kled, because Kled is absolutely ridiculous. One of the easiest champions with the absolute disgusting amount of damage. Really, a level 3 gank for a Kled is an absolute free flash, and you come back again, that person's dead. Hit him with a rope, you've got your bicycle, a dinosaur, mount, whatever that may be. Gives you basically two forms, tower dive ability at any stage in the game, level 3 if you want, and then one of the best roaming ults in the game, because guess what? You might think, well, hey, Quinn's very annoying because she's just a ranged top, she sits there, it's annoying, she orders me, she goes back to base, she ults bottom lane, and then they die. It's very sad and frustrating. Hey, Kled can do the same thing. Honestly, in all the games I've played and the times I've played with actual top laners, and you've seen certain people smurfing, some of the most disgusting damage I've ever seen has come from a really fed Kled and a really fed Fiora. In my opinion, Kled sums up what it is to 1v9 a game, what it is to roam, what it is to actually take over the map. And for the bonus round and honorable mention, I must shout out Rengar. Yes, we all know him for the jungle and our western servers, but you go to Korea and you will see him be played in the top lane a significant amount more than the jungle. And I'm not kidding, his jungle pick rate's like 0.8%, and his top lane pick rate is 2.5%. Conqueror, Electrocute, Grasp, Tank Rengar, you can go Zhonya's variations, you can go full damage, you can really do whatever you want. Hybrid, tank, full damage, and whatever sort of itemizations that suit his kit. You know, we talk about the Essence Reaver as sort of an Exodia build from the jungle, a top lane that can be a core item. He wins a lot of matchups, but you do need to be skilled, you do need to know how to use those bush jumps, you do need to know how to use those auto attack resets and ferocity stacks perfectly, and then of course you also need to know trading power and roaming potential with your ultimate. You know, there's also an interaction with your ult and TP, right? That's quite fun. So my honorable mention high skill cap pick that isn't really used enough is Rengar top lane. And hopefully with that, you have a good core list of 1v9, 1v5 champions you can use from the top lane. It's definitely in a very good state right now. Experience, your impact, the herald usage, your TP plays, the damage dealers. Don't think you're in a tank meta because you are not. Take control of your lane, take control of the game, go get those wins. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you were able to enjoy and learn something. Please do like, share, and comment if you did. Don't forget to subscribe to Mobalytics for the all-roll material coming very soon. I've been your host Virkayu, and as always, I will see you all in the next video.